All right. Well, back to the morning routine. I have an important work appointment today, but somebody moving a little quick today. So I'm cleaning the water. It's always a kind of part of my routine throughout my day periodically. And I'm filling up my carbon distiller right now because that's basically the best way to clean water. You can kind of see, I'll show you guys how I'm doing in a second, but I'm filling it up, and I'm filling it up with RO water. If you use tap water, you have to use what's called the carbon part of the distiller. So use a distiller with the carbon. Otherwise, if you use a prior filtration method, then you don't need to use the carbon per se, in my opinion. And that's how you want to clean water. You want to clean water I say in my opinion, but look at lab tests. I mean, my opinions are basically off of information and data. I don't just make stuff up. Not part of my personality. I like to be very thorough. And that's why, that's why a lot of people say that they trust my research, but mostly it's just what makes sense. That's all. That's simple. Let's see here. So what I personally do here, this thing is almost full. I drop one drop. That's all I put in here. Just one drop. It's going to be for 1 gallon. Salt is taken out of those minerals. I just like the pure minerals. And this tank is full over here. So I'll seal this up, and it's got an interesting rubber seal on it. Sorry, I couldn't move the camera over here, but I'm going to take it over there so you're going to be able to see it. And these are from mypurewater.com. If you want one of these, they're made in America. They're higher quality. Take care of them. To me, they'll last virtually forever. I have another old one that still works, but I tend to let people borrow it and lend it out and all sorts of different things. Plus, I wanted to try their new one, and that's that one. So I'm going to put this in here and just fire it up. And yes, it takes hours. I mean, it takes 3 to 6 hours or something to clean water. But that's why I always say anything that cleans water immediately, like if you have a normal water filter, anything that cleans water immediately, in my opinion, is not actually cleaning your water much. Now, again, that's just my opinion, but that also is based off data. In order to really clean all the parasites, worms, pharmaceuticals, viruses, bacteria, I mean, you really have to put it through that full process that I'm putting it through. And why would you want to clean your water? Well, because in my opinion, it's significantly affecting our health. It's one of the methods that I use to try to improve my health. And obviously, clean water is just foundational for health. And yeah, my methods are kind of quirky. Well, I don't know if they're quirky. I thought they seem strange to some people, but they work. That's what I go for. I just go for stuff that works. Okay, let's make my hydrogen smoothie today because this is also part of my protocol in order to get all my nutrients. I use a Purium powder. This is from iShopPurium.com. I'm going to be kind of quick today, guys. If you want a discount code on that one, I guess you can use a $50 code as Uprising144K. But yeah, this is a way to get all your nutrients from your food, which is what I prefer to do. I do not like to use multivitamins. I kind of realized I don't like anything in pill form. Or no, let me say almost anything. I won't say anything, but I'll say almost anything in pill form. The things that I'm realizing that they add to them as binders and stuff, I'm just not a fan. Everything I use is either powders and foods, and this is all food. I mean, this is all food. Now I'm going to be putting flax seeds. That's more food. Foods consist mostly of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and I tend to go off of the data, and that's what I've done. And I'm always shocked when it actually works. Raw cacao. I mean, this is rich in minerals, rich in nutrients, and tastes good. And there's just other health benefits to it. And I've been working on different experiments, stuff that I've been doing. But raw cacao, good stuff. Me personally, I like it. Okay, so let's keep moving forward here because I got to get all this done in a certain amount of time today. Oh no, I'm almost out of greens. I think I have to go to the other refrigerator because these ones are definitely going bad. I gotta pick out the bad. So let's see here. Okay, let's show you guys. Now here's I mean, I was calling it a challenge for you guys. See if anybody was willing or trying to put the effort in, to really improve your health, because I don't want to say the world is in utter chaos or anything, but I guess I would say people's health is in chaos these days, and I personally think I know what's really affecting a lot of it, but I don't necessarily need to go into that. I mean, but it is pretty crazy. I mean, it's everything. It's the food, it's the water, it's the way that things are made, and of course stress doesn't help. And there's just so much going on these days, and you have to find a way to help. That's one of the reasons that I like. So yeah, clean water is amazing, but hydrogen is really something that boosts super clean water to the next level, because just clean water is more like a preventative. But once you want your water to be like what I would call a medicine, I personally would call it that. Something that could potentially, because I mean, there's a lot of data showing the health benefits, obviously, of hydrogen. And me personally, I mean, it's obviously changed my life. That's why I had to research it so much and became such a fan of hydrogen and what it appears it can do, or at least what I've seen it do for me and loved ones. It clearly works. And well, of course, there's enough evidence to show that it obviously appears to have a positive effect. And boy, this stuff is just so bad. This was going picking out all the bad spots. And so the thing that I always loved about hydrogen is the protective aspect. And with everything going on in the world, it was part of the reason that you named my channel Uprising 144K, because the 144,000, I mean, it's not just an enlightening molecule, which in my opinion it also seems to have a very profound effect on that regard, but it's really more, and of course purity is everything. So that's why some people keep asking me, like, well, what's a cheap way of getting hydrogen? I'm like, well, what's your goal? Because I mean, if your goal is to like improve your health, you don't want to do a cheap one, because in my opinion, that's just going to make things worse. So it's kind of like, what exactly is your purpose for wanting to use hydrogen? If you want to do it for your health, then you're going to want to do the best kind. I mean, you want like what they would call therapeutic grade, kind of like ozone. Ozone's the same thing. There's really good ways to make ozone, then there's cheap ways. And you really want you want the good ways if you're really trying to get like really serious good results. If you just want to play around with it, well, that's different. I mean, you can make hydrogen numerous different cheap ways, none that I would consume. Maybe I could make a video on how to make cheap hydrogen if people want to play around with it, but yeah, certainly nothing I would consume. Let's see here. I'm almost done picking the good spots, and I'm definitely gonna have to go get more greens, because this is not looking advantageous today for me. Yeah, this is just, the rest of it's bad. And I always, I hate for groceries. I don't like to waste anything. But sometimes, not that sometimes you have to waste, but sometimes things just go bad. I better go grab the other one. This is going to take me a second. But yeah, you're going to want to clean your water, guys. Again, in my opinion, there's just, it's too wacky. It's too wacky these days, what's in the water. And it's funny because I talk to different people and like, well, I want to move here, I want to move there. And everybody's wanting to run away from where they're at. They're like, oh, my country sucks. And I find it funny because all these countries that people want to run to, they're wanting to run to other countries that I've talked to people that other people want to run away from. People are just running around. One's going one place and the other person's trying to go, different direction. And it's, dare I say, amusing, because I think there's not too many places you can run to, in my opinion. Everything has its pluses and minuses, and and it's funny to me how I guess countries don't care about the environment because, they'll have wars and they'll, be running tanks on, diesel or whatever they run them on. And they're just constantly polluting just for what, so they can fight each other, you know? And oh wow, they're polluting a lot. Okay, here's some greens. And I guess these ones need to be washed too. My gosh. This is actually my last batch here, and I gotta go buy more. I try to buy them in a rhythm because they start going bad if I let them sit for too long. So I'm always trying to buy my groceries in a rhythm. I usually have to go grocery shopping, I would say about twice a week. Something along those lines. Those look better, a little bit better. But they got some bad pieces. This is gonna take me too long. I'm trying to be fast today because I got all sorts of stuff going on. And yeah, and sorry for that. I did a video, I think it was yesterday. It didn't last very long because I had some sad stuff happen. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. I was trying. And then I just decided not to. Okay. Well, okay, let's see. Hi, good morning. The best I can get here is RO water for my Hydrofix. I hope it's okay. I bought a distilled water gallon, but honestly, it smells and tastes like pure plastic. Yep, that's why I say make your own. I hope later in the future I can get a distiller like yours here in Mexico. Yeah, I'm trying to get a rhythm in my grocery shopping too. Yes, yes, in Mexico, I mean, I don't do any research in other countries. Oh wow, I just realized I got some smoothie in here. Oh boy, I guess it's time to call some friends and see if anybody wants a smoothie this morning. Because I'm gonna have extra, I can tell already. Okay, what else do I need? Where are we at here? No, it's in here somewhere. I know it's in here. I know you're in here. What am I looking for though? Oh, I've been drinking my cherry, apothecary. This is from the Purium company. It's gotta say, those guys have some like pretty fantastic products. That stuff is pretty awesome. You notice the quality. That's the big thing I noticed. Because I mean, I can find, I guess, cherry juice at the store, but the stuff they've got is just something different about it. And I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're using higher grade cherries. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I noticed it with their powder. And I noticed it basically with all their products. So I like, uh, I like companies like that. I know that they tend to be more expensive, but I like quality stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on that one. Okay, let's see here. Let's try to get this rolling. The greens is always a foundation, other than the oh, that looked like a good piece. I don't want to waste that. Other than the powders always go in first, but the greens, because I don't think people get enough greens, and we need protection, guys. And when I say we need protection, I'm telling you right now, having your nutrients up is extremely important for nutrition. It's just extremely important for anything. You name it. That's why, part of my protocols, they always involve these, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, basically food, but the nutrients is what we're really looking for. We're really looking for the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, stuff that you just really can't get anywhere except for food. I know that they try to tell you otherwise. Just take this pill, gives you all your vitamins. Something magical about food. It's my opinion, especially plants. Plants are straight up magical. I mean, they might be one of the most magical things on the planet. Plants, herbs, mushrooms, nuts, seeds. I mean, they're all magic, in my opinion, of course, just my opinion. People are gonna be like, magic? Magic, you say? Where do they make things disappear? I'm not gonna, okay. I'm putting some raisins that were soaked in hydrogen, super clean hydrogen water. And not only do I believe that they enhance them, of course, there's data to support that. Also, they, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm gonna just use them all. I was gonna save some, but forget it. It's gonna be a sweet smoothie today. Then I was soaking today. These are almonds, so I soaked dried almonds. I like to soak my fruits, vegetables, whatever I can soak, but these are nuts, anything that's dried. So the grapes or the raisins as we call them, either way. Yeah, I soak them, they soak up water. You guys know the drill. You want to bring a ton of water into your GI system if you're trying to heal, guys. These are all my opinions. It's funny because I know that a lot of I'm aware that the other people there's people trolling my videos or watching my videos who claim to be people who know how to heal, and then they watch my videos because, well, unfortunately their methods don't work. So there you go. This is for everybody. They're the ones who just sit there quietly and don't comment. They just like to sit in there. Okay. And there's natto. And it really looks like I need to do a little bit of grocery shopping, but I still have some stuff here. Let's bring all this out. And this smoothie, again, intended for so many things. You can try it for numerous different things, regardless, because the body just needs minerals. The body needs nutrients. I'll tell you one thing the body needs is fiber, a huge, massive amount of fiber. It really needs a lot. That was one of the shockers for me, guys, I gotta say. These are the blueberries from yesterday. Pretty much out. Organic. You guys know blueberries are very important for the vascular system. Vascular system being extremely important. Everything starts getting hardened as you get older, and you really want everything to be relaxed and soft and smooth. And yeah, so we're trying to show you guys how to basically make the cleanest water. Then I already did so the part that really seems to improve health dramatically, and which is obviously the hydrogen. And I already did the hydrogen. I already drank my super clean water every morning. Hydration is another really important part. There's certain keys to health. The keys to health, wow, did I put too many today? That's okay, blueberries are really good for you. The keys to health are not, there is no one silver bullet. So I will say my father, he did just the clean water and the hydrogen, and his results are pretty awesome. But I don't like people to just rely on just something like that because, you're still trying to gain, a very high level of health, and people don't know how to clean their water. That's just something that I've learned. People don't realize that a water filter that's running through your refrigerator or just, again, a conventional water filter is just not good enough. Hate to say it, people don't realize that the filters get dirty, which means that even when you have a filter that says, oh, you can filter out 5,000 gallons or 20,000 gallons or whatever number they give you, what's actually happening is those filters are getting dirty. So by the time 500 gallons have gone through it, your filter's dirty. And then you have to run another you just keep, the water is not going to be as clean. And so a lot of these lab tests, there's a lot of trickiness out there, and I've learned all the trickiness, and that's why I try to give you guys the information. There's so many shenanigans out there, in my opinion. I gotta say, there's so many things from, different ways of making hydrogen, people telling you just take a pill for this or that. No, that's not the way that I have found to basically really transform health, and that obviously I learned on my own path. I needed to find my own way, and I found my way in more ways than one. And obviously that's why I share with you guys. So, power the hydrologic system. That's how nature cleans water. That's how I learned, actually. A lot of the methods that I use, I observe nature. There's so many things that I observed throughout years of research and trying to figure this whole thing out. And then, of course, reading a lot of interesting scientific data because there's things that you read about that I'm just shocked. I'm like, wow, there's no way this will work. Like recently, we talked about raising the libido, raising testosterone naturally, and balancing hormones like estrogen and testosterone, and this whole thing. And I did some experiments on me and some others based on data because I really thought, well, geez, they're technically according to this data, this should work. So I did it, and sure enough, it worked. And I was like, what? This works? I mean, people don't know. I still need to make a video about it. I just can't seem to find a free minute. I mean, the moment I'm done making this smoothie and drink it down, I gotta run. I gotta go to a work appointment. And while I'm on my way there, I already have people calling. So I'm gonna have to like make some work calls while I'm driving. And stuff like that is just, it's nonstop. And then I'm like, geez, how do I even get around to making a video anymore? It's kind of tough, but I want to because I think it's I mean, I worked on it for months and I worked on it for a long time, many months. And now seeing that it's worked, see, I'm really big on putting things into practice. That's one of my big things. Okay, let's put a little hydrogen water in here. Hydrogen and clean water. Either one. I prefer the hydrogen water because it appears to soak into the fruits and vegetables and just enhance them. And see, that's what I actually personally think that they're missing. I think that we're growing food the wrong way these days, and they're deficient for sure. They're deficient in minerals and nutrients, but I also think they're deficient in hydrogen. And so that's the way that they were intended to be. And so that's why I like to soak them in there. That's the reason I think that they soak them up so well. Soaks up the hydrogen so well that it makes the fruit and vegetable different, in my opinion, including potential protection from oxalates. People are always worried about oxalates in fruits and vegetables, but the things that they do for the body are they're just too magical, guys. I mean, look at beets. Like, I did some videos already where we went over every single ingredient in this smoothie and the different health benefits. Like, it's funny, like the raisin ones, I put them in there for the boron. Turns out, and which I read data on it, which is part of the reason I was putting the raisins in there for the protocol for people who are trying to regulate hormones, but also trying to increase their libido. And I looked up, and sure enough, there's data on it. And they're like, geez, why do raisins do this? Well, guys, they got boron in them. And boron has an effect on your sex hormones. And that's just one of many things. The beautiful thing about taking care of your health that I've learned, unfortunately, the hard way, is that it gives you so many benefits. I mean, it really does make you feel younger, just feel better. Things start working the right way as they should. Don't have to rely on pharmaceuticals and all that stuff, because that's one of the other videos that I was thinking about making. I really think potentially in the future, think about this. What if we ever have some type of apocalyptic event or just some huge event, just whatever it is that ends up happening? I won't even say what it would be. But think about it. If something happens and all of a sudden there's issues with getting pharmaceuticals, like, people can't just go to the drugstore and get their medicine that they need. That's going to be a huge problem. So one of my goals, and this is a goal that I would have if I were like most people, which I'm not, because I don't need any pharmaceuticals. My body, everything's working great because of the things that I do. But what I would say is, if somebody needs a pharmaceutical medicine, like they're on blood pressure medicine, they're on, I don't know, diabetes medicine, whatever they're on, in my opinion, better try to find a way to fix those issues, because if anything ever happens and you can't get those, it's going to be a major problem for a lot of people. There's a lot of people on pharmaceuticals right now. And I understand that they need them. I'm not saying for people to go off of them. I'm definitely not saying that. What I'm saying is you got to find a way to resolve the issue. Because like things like blood pressure are easy. Type 2 diabetes, in my opinion, is easy. Cholesterol issues are easy. And if you don't deal with them, you can't just stop taking the medicine, because if you do, like with blood pressure, you could just have a stroke all of a sudden. Things of this nature. So you need to find the solution. And I'll tell you right now, I personally think I'm not giving any medical advice or making any medical claims, but you're going to want to, if you can do the challenge of super clean water, definitely follow the hydrogen protocol. That would be, I've seen that work so good. And then you do the smoothie protocol just every morning. Make this smoothie for like your breakfast. This is basically your multivitamin. And let me tell you something, when you have no deficiencies, when you overcome nutritional deficiencies, which is why I designed this smoothie, your body's going to work so much better. I mean, there's new data coming out all the time. In fact, did you hear the latest data on schizophrenia? And by the way, this is not, I'm going to show you how to activate it, full of protein, full of vitamin K, an amazing enzyme called nattokinase or nattokinase. This stuff is straight up magic. Okay, there's so much data on this stuff. The Japanese have outdone themselves. I love those guys. Lots of love for all the people. And let's go ahead and activate it. We activate it by stirring it, so that's what I'm going to do. Where was I though? And of course, fiber. You want lots of fiber. Super important. But if you can overcome nutritional deficiencies, and so the latest data on schizophrenia, depression, all this type of stuff, can you believe this, guys? They linked it to a nutritional deficiency in most people. I'm not going to say every single person, but think about that for 1 second. They discovered that there's a nutritional deficiency that a lot of these people with schizophrenia and issues are deficient in. And I personally think that that can be said for a lot of different things. Once you start having certain issues and you can't understand why, most doctors almost never test for nutritional deficiencies. And for me, it would be one of the most basic, dare I say, how could you be so foolish and not understand this? Because we have, look how activated that is. Look at that, foamy. That's exactly what we want, by the way. Very alive. Love stuff that's alive as far as, you want to get really, really a lot of life in the body. Life is where basically the health comes in, by the way. Like a little child that's running around full of energy, full of life, or an old person that's really cold, no life, just has to sit there, right? There's a huge difference. And hydrogen is the source of all life, in my opinion. You can see what it does to the human blood. It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is, to the point where doctors don't even sometimes believe it. I've had to prove it to them before. And then once I prove it, they're just blown away. They're like, oh my gosh, this stuff's crazy. How come I've never heard of it? I'm like, well, I guess you don't do much reading, do you, Doc? You just keep shoving pills down people's throats. I know. There's really just the world we live in, guys. But that's okay. One day, people will learn. Humans are like that. We tend to learn from difficult experiences. But anyway, so like I said, overcoming nutritional deficiencies. I mean, we know for a fact, by the way, this is again what I mean about reading data and understanding how to apply it, that basically they know, because they've done the studies, if you're deficient in something, it typically leads to disease. My favorite example is probably the one about vitamin C. If you're deficient in vitamin C, you will get scurvy. And when they overcome the deficiency, scurvy goes away. And there's a lot of disease out there. A lot of these studies were also done on animals. But basically, what's been learned is that let's see here, you can turn disease off and on a lot of times, like a light switch, from making an animal, or maybe even a human potentially, deficient in something, and then fixing the deficiency. Just disease off and on, off and on. And yet, somehow, doctors are not trained in nutrition. Barely. And the nutritional information that we're oftentimes given is kind of inaccurate, in my opinion, actually quite inaccurate. I gotta say, I've seen, it's weird to see the data and then see what like USDA or whatever they recommend as far as what we should be eating. It's kind of weird. Like even the amount of sugar that they tell us that we need, it's crazy. We do not need, and they don't talk about the differences in sugar, even though we have data. I've seen the studies where they use different types of sugars. And obviously things like processed sugar as compared to sugars from like an orange or an apple. And by the way, it is different. It affects the body differently. That's why when people make comments even on these smoothies, they're like, well, babe, there's sugar in there. You put raisins. And it's like, have you seen what they can do for like blood glucose and help regulating it, especially vegetables? And it's because there's magical properties to these fruits and vegetables that people really don't understand because they haven't read about them. And I'll tell you, some of these studies shocked everyone, including myself. I mean, absolutely shocking, because you see certain things. Like, for example, I'll give you one example. It was really super interesting. So they would take a cup of water and just straight up put they would just put like processed sugar, like a spoonful, whatever. I can't remember how many tablespoons or whatever they did, and they would have people drink it, and they would measure their blood glucose level. And of course, you'd see this spike. You see a huge spike, and then, because it's like drinking Coca-Cola, that's just water with sugar, basically. So it gives you this huge sugar spike, which, by the way, is extremely bad for you. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but one can of Coca-Cola or diet, whatever, some soda pop with sugar in it. And by the way, the diet ones they're worse for your body. But anyway, that's according to the research. Not medical claim. I'm just, in my opinion, I should say my opinion, because you never know. Then Coca-Cola's like, we're gonna go after this guy. Anyway, so when they would do this study with the water and the sugar, then they would take a glass of water again, and they would put the same amount of sugar in it, same amount, but this time they also added one more thing, and they would add something like orange juice. And you're thinking, well, with all logic, which I'm a very logical guy in more ways than one, so I like data. Well, that should be more sugar, because orange juice naturally has sugar in it, and you're adding the same amount of sugar. So technically, that should be more sugar. You should see a bigger sugar spike. I mean, I would have bet way too much money probably on that one, saying, oh, of course it's going to be a higher sugar spike. And nope, there's special properties, like I said, to fruits and vegetables. And sure enough, you did not get that sugar spike. You got much less of a sugar spike. Somehow the fruit helped control it more. And then you had nice, better levels of blood glucose within the blood. And it was shocking to me. And they repeated this test with so many different types of fruit. And they also did it with alcohol, of all things. They did a study where they would give alcohol, because alcohol gives you a spike also in blood glucose. But also, it's not just a spike. There's other negative attributes to alcohol, things that it affects in a negative way. And when they would pair it with fruit, like whether they would put like orange juice again, or I mean, you could even like slice an apple and put it in there. Sometimes when I make certain beverages for friends, I actually use fruit as ice cubes. So I'll put frozen fruit in an alcoholic beverage for some people sometimes when I try to make it, healthy, maybe on a weekend or like a get together or some sort. And so it helps instead of making it worse. And that's amazing. So there is clearly a difference between processed sugar and not processed sugar. And as far as drinking a can of Coke, I saw, and I shouldn't use a specific brand. I'm not going to say Coke. I'm just going to say some type of sugary soda pop. There was some research showing that it literally suppresses your immune system for about, I think it's like 6 hours, and makes you more susceptible to viral or bacterial infections. Here's some chia seeds soaked in hydrogen water. I'm gonna put those in here, and notice that everything I'm putting in here has a lot of water content. All these fruits, vegetables, I mean, they're primarily made of water, but they have a lot of fiber. I mean, they're like the most magical food. It's like, who created this stuff? I mean, we grow it, but who invented it? Who created it, right? Some people would be like, well, of course, that would be God, right? God is the one who invented, he created the heavens and the earth. Well, there you go. Whoever it is, I'll tell you one thing, they know what they were doing, because there's a reason that this is what's best for our body, in my opinion, just my opinions. Because some people are like, oh no, fruits and vegetables are bad for you. You're an idiot. You should eat nothing but steak. You should eat nothing but meat. You're a moron. Dead animals for everybody. It's funny though how the ancient scriptures would say things like the Garden of Eden. It was a Garden of Eden, not the slaughter of Eden. I don't know. I found that fruits and vegetables are pretty magical. And I'm not against meat, by the way. Not against meat. But I don't think we need as much of it as we think we do. And there's certain ancient cultures, and I'm adding minerals, by the way, because I know my food is deficient in minerals. everything that is deficient in minerals, and then the nutrients. That's why I did the powder. And this is gonna make a lot of noise. And while I do this, I'm gonna take out the compost. So let's fire it up. Some people think that won't blend. That's not gonna work. That's way too much food in that thing. No way will it blend. Well, it blended. It worked. Can you believe it? I can't believe it works. No, it's a special blender. You can't do that with a normal blender. It has to be one of a special blender. All right. And I like to let things settle in there a little bit. We'll fire it up one more time. There we go. Get everything nice and blended. And so if you can just I've found people gain really great results with the clean water, clean hydrogen. Well, the hydrogen is kind of most magical part, but you combine it with this and it supercharges each other. They work so synergistically beautifully together. But we're going to add some more magic ingredients here. And again, everything from food or nature. Let's go with, here's the magical stuff right here. We'll go with that. And we're going to fill these jars up with some hydrogen water or clean water, whatever you have access to. But I like the hydrogen because it kind of enhances the smoothie, fruits and vegetables from the original garden. That should be good enough. Let's try. And if it's all chunky monkey, then we will have to blend it some more. Okay, I always like to pour it halfway. I'll show you why in a second. And there we go. Why half? Well, because I got to add some magic ingredients, guys. That's why. And I'm running out of these again. I'll wait for that one. Okay, the most important one, D3 with K2. D3, which is technically a hormone, not a vitamin, vitamin D. 1, 2, 3. I'll tell you one thing about this. It's one of the most difficult nutrients to get. It's almost borderline impossible to get it in your food. And in the food that you would get it in is food that I wouldn't eat these days, just because of what's happening in nature and fish being so extremely contaminated. Boron regulates sex hormones, good for the brain, good for the bones, good for the ligaments. Boron is such an important mineral. This is the one I've been experimenting with. And of course, I'm almost out. And I'm very impressed with what this stuff can do. Very impressed so far, actually. I don't know what I'm going to do about all that and they're all in ionic form. Notice, ionic. And this one's chlorophyll. This is another one that I was a little surprised how much I've been enjoying. I didn't think, counting these drops, I did not think that I would enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying that one. And I'm actually really enjoying it. It feels so, it's super rich green and super nutrients right there. It's like eating a ton of vegetables, which is kind of what I do anyway, but taking it to a whole other level. And everything from food, guys. Okay, this one's going to be share these smoothies today. And because I just have too many. Can you believe that? I'm going to be drinking a lot of smoothie today. That's what I'm going to do. And I got 2 more magical ingredients, and then I'm going to sit down and eat because I got to go. But I will tell you this one, the hemp hearts. This is crazy. I'm very impressed with this one. So many nutrients. If you were to read the nutritional label on this stuff, holy cow. Full of mineral and nutrients. Of course, protein. Probably the most well-balanced proteins in the world of any food. I believe it's got the best balance of omega-3s and 6s almost in the world. This stuff's incredible, and I'm pretty much almost out. But I think I just bought another bag the other day. They're a little spendy. But when anything that has to do with nutrients, I'm willing to spend that money because it's just good for the body. Kind of gingery today. Quite delicious still. Actually turned out pretty good. Okay. Last ingredient. last ingredient, and if you can just do this, if you can just do your hydrogen clean water protocol and a smoothie in the morning, that's all you'd have to do. And I'm telling you, go ahead and write me and I will share your results. I do have a lot of results that I haven't shared lately because I've been too busy and stuff. But last ingredient being hydrogen, I'm going to inhale it while I eat. I discovered that nobody does that. That was actually my quote unquote, I guess you could say, invention, but works extremely good. Pretty amazing. And let's plug in this phone because it's clearly going to die. And okay, let's see. Answer you guys' questions here. Okay, no apology needed, Greg. Oh wait, let me take out this here. What do you think of coffee? You know, coffee's an interesting one. I'm not against it, but make sure to get organic. Coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops there is. You do not want to be drinking non-organic, I'll tell you that much. That stuff is like drinking a cup of chemicals. So be very cautious about all that, in my opinion. But I like coffee, don't overdo it. I would limit myself to 1 cup, maybe 2. But the thing about coffee is it can deplete you also of certain minerals. So this is the purpose and the reason for things like this smoothie, full of minerals, full of nutrients. So when you drink a cup of coffee, it's not that bad because, yeah, it depletes you a little bit, but there's also benefits to it too. Use really clean water to make your coffee and use really clean coffee, organic. And don't overdo it. Don't be drinking a ton of it. And don't put sugary crap in it. And don't put dairy in it. I only put raw honey in my coffee. Okay, Sunshine says, yeah, I want some smoothie, but probably hard to come drink it from Virginia. Yeah, it'd be easier if you just made it yourself. Okay, PY says, are greens good for removing metals? Yeah, I mean, really, in my opinion, a lot of fiber. Tons of fiber, tons of clean water with the hydrogen, in my opinion, will remove the metal. And that's super important to do because parasites are attracted to metal, heavy metals in the body. Plants are magic, yes, they make things disappear. Yes, Alan, I would agree. Sunshine, would you discuss soaking the raisins, nuts, etc. again, like the reason behind it? Right, Sunshine, it's so simple. They're dried. So when they're dried, if you eat raisins, your GI system's gonna pull water out of your GI because these raisins that are dry or dried nuts will pull all this water out of you. If you soak them, you bring the water in. So when you bring them into the body, they're bringing water. And water is life. And if you can enhance it with hydrogen, oh my gosh, now you're taking it to another level, you know? Tom Jarvis says, I noticed that your coffee maker might have plastic components. Dude, everything has plastic components. That when they come in contact with hot water will leach chemicals. Yes, I'm aware of that. Something I didn't realize till recently. No, I'm very well aware of it. And by the way, that's not really my coffee maker, just so you know. You know, this is not my house. One of these days, I'll get a home. Just that I'm not sure where I'm going to be living, and I'm not sure it's even going to be America. So, has a wealth of health information. But yes, I appreciate it, Tom. I'm aware of it. I can show you guys how I typically make it. I have a French press thing. Where can I find your cancer protocol? Dave, you would go to video, I believe it's 396. In the description area, there's a link for it. And you go to that link and it shows, I think it's like over a 2-hour video with me. Helen says, I had a friend that drank nothing but Diet Coke. Yep, I've known people like that too. She always presented crazy autoimmune issues. Yep. Doctors thought she had lupus, MS, then some other issue. I wonder what about that soda that she was drinking. Yeah, diet is terrible. It messes with your GI system. And your GI system is responsible for almost 80% of your immune system. But it's responsible for much more than just that. Drinking Diet Coke every day, in my opinion, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's complete stupidity. Well, unless you're trying to hurt yourself. I mean, if you want to hurt yourself, then fantastic. It's probably one of the best things you can do. But any of those soda pops, just I don't drink any of that crap. Definitely not. I mean, the biggest thing I would do is if you get canned water that's carbonated. I mean, you can do carbonated water once in a while. I wouldn't do that all the time. I definitely just go with clean hydrogen water that you can make yourself. Dramer says, I put honey and soy in my coffee now. Tastes good. Yes, I can taste one. Really delicious. And there you go. I answered all the questions. Woohoo. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this smoothie. This is my breakfast, but it's my vitamin. And all the fiber while we inhale some hydrogen. Super delicious. I had some bad news. One of my friends died. Another one. So tired of this happening. And I just wish he would have taken better care of himself. I left my smoothie out, says Dreamer, for 4 hours at room temperature, and it was still good. Yeah, it'll still be good. The better the quality, as far as the fresher it is, the better the quality. Yeah, Sunshine says, sorry, Greg. Yeah, so sorry for your loss. I know. I mean, I was pretty, the reason I was devastated about it was, I mean, I really loved that guy. You know, he was a really good guy. I grew up with him. And obviously we're similar age. And, you know, when you start seeing people that are roughly, you know, around where you're at in age, or even, I mean, even younger people than me, you know, things happening to them. And, you know, yeah, it just really, it hurts. And I've seen so many of the people that I've grown up with, and I hate to say it, they look terrible, you know, and it's because I know people they're not taking care of themselves. I would say the majority of people, yeah, to be honest, Dramer, it has nothing to do with that part of it, to be honest. You know, and I won't obviously go into that part, but I hear you. Let me get you. I'm gonna go grab some smoothie. Hold on. Give me a second here. This is from yesterday. I should finish this one. Otherwise they do go bad. But I always like to drink my first fresh one with all my fresh nutrients and whatever's left over, I'll finish it up. It's really not gonna be bad. What's the longest you'd let a smoothie be in the fridge. You know, I used to say 3 days. If you seal it, I seal these. But honestly, I think there must be something I'm adding because something's changed my smoothies. I think it's the natto. Something in here now is causing the fermentation process to go really fast. They're only good for like 1 day now. So the fresh ones, this is like a day old from yesterday, and I think that's as far as I'd let it go these days. Plus, you really want everything fresh. These things are oxidizing, you know? That's weird. I don't think this is mine. This isn't mine. Oh boy. This is somebody else's. I mean, I could finish it, but I should let them finish it. Yeah, I'm gonna let them finish this one. Hold on. You don't know what to do. I gotta go soon, but I'm gonna scrape this. I'll show you guys how I do it because I don't know. I think it's important. That's why I'm showing you. Otherwise, I would have done it off camera, but I'm gonna show you guys when I'm all done with these smoothies. How I don't like to waste any part of them because, you know, I kind of don't think about it, but some people are like, man, that must be expensive smoothie. I'm like, well, I mean, I can't really put a price on my health these days. And it's not like they're like $1,000 a smoothie or anything crazy. They're not even $100 a smoothie. So, I mean, you know, I looked, I do calculate how much, how much these smoothies roughly cost me, how many calories. You know, I don't like to calculate things like that. Let's see here. Yes, you can rinse it with hydrogen water and drink it. Fresh is best. Okay, let's see. Dave says, is distilled water the best to use with the Hydrofix? I just ordered one. In my opinion, absolutely, yes. Mostly because it's clean, but it keeps the machine cleaner too, which I think will make it, you know, better. Kind of like keeping your engine oil clean in your car. I would say, I don't know if you've looked at mypurewater.com, because you want clean water, not just water that's good for the Hydrofix. You want clean water. And you can check out my, let's see, what's it called? mypurewater.com. And you can get a discount if you use the code UPRISING144K. It helps it support the channel too, a little bit. Not a ton, to be honest, but a little bit. But the most important part, more important part than any of that, is that you get the cleanest water if you're really, really, really trying to improve your health. You know, and that's not medical advice. It's not my medical claim either. I'm just saying, clean water. Can we just agree that clean water is important for us? I think we can all agree on that. And I would use the carbon distillers from My Pure Water. I've shown the lab results in video 388, but if you just take my word for it, I'm telling you right now, it's no contest. It's not even close. There's no other water filtration system that can do this. No matter what they claim, I've seen their claims, I've seen some lab tests that they do, but I also know, as I explained earlier, when you use filters, those little shenanigans as far as lab tests, the results are going to be different depending on how much water goes through, but with the carbon distiller, that's not the case. Because you're using the power of the hydrologic system, which is just a part within nature, that's just how things work, basically. And you'll make the clean water consistently, which is the goal, actually. That the machine will do it consistently, not just when a filter is new, and then they do that lab test, you know, when the filter is new, and I don't like that. I wish they would do a lab test after running, you know, 5,000-10,000 gallons of water through the filter, depending on how many they claim the filters can filter, you know. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I've got to run some water through here. Maybe I'll do a little hydrogen water, but we're going to sustain that a little bit. Almost done. I got a few more minutes if you have last questions. Yeah, things are so crazy these days. I've had a little bit of bad luck. I don't know. Could you call it bad luck? I don't know. You know, it's funny. I had some pretty not great things happen recently, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? Because I wasn't feeling very good about it. I thought to myself, you know what? Just remember. And yeah, did it help a little bit? But I was like, just remember, you have your health. Remember where you used to be. I had to remind myself. It's like, remember, you couldn't even walk, dude. I know these things look terrible or whatever, but you couldn't walk, you're walking. Okay? Don't be so upset about, you know, this, that, or the other. Just be happy that you can walk. Is that dumb? I don't know, but it changed my perspective on things. Okay, let's see here. Is distilled water the best? Yes. I've seen a preclinical study from Japan showing that natto degrades spike protein. Oh boy. Tim, I guess we're gonna have to delete this video, guys. I've known about that study for some time. Tim, in fact, I knew about a lot of this stuff before anybody talked about it. There's a reason that I have videos about what I'm putting in here. For some time, by the way, way before all those conversations. The problem is when you bring up subjects like that, as you can imagine, we don't really have free speech anymore. So that most likely will get my, no, it's all good. I understand. It just gets the channel in trouble, so I'll probably delete it. Or, well, for one, it's not a medical claim, okay? But why don't you just go ahead and delete the comment and, but I'll still kind of answer your question as far as what the best natto to do is. And you put, I know you recommend distillers from mypurewater.com 6 to 8 weeks out. By the way, I don't know why they tell people that, because you will get it sooner than that. You probably typically get it between 2 and 3 weeks, but just saying. Is there any other ones that you would recommend to get sooner? You know, I don't, because they're American made. There's a reason that I use those carbon distillers. You know, I hate to say it, but you can get other distillers. That's just what I like for reliability. I've seen the lab tests. I know what they do. In fact, I think I have it right here. I mean, I won't go into the full lab test or anything, but let me tell you the results. And I went through every single one of them, and there's a lot of them. I mean, there's specific things. I mean, tons of stuff. Pages of it, by the way, pages and pages. I went through every single thing. Extremely impressive. In fact, I knew that it would come out good. I knew that it would, but then it came out even better than I anticipated. I mean, look, this is the part that really blew my flipping mind here. Look at this thing. Well, for one, biological contaminants. That's a big one. Radioactive contaminants, guys. Oh my gosh. You combine this kind of water with hydrogen, I don't know. I feel like they're the only people who would survive an apocalypse. So anyway, really, really good stuff. Okay, I gotta go pretty soon. Yeah, and no worries. You know, you can, if you order it, I mean, yeah, you wait 2-3 weeks. I know they say 6 to 8, but 2 or 3. Yeah, it takes a little while. But, you know, but you can get something else if you want. I don't have other ones that I recommend. Not to say that there's not other ones that are good. But, I mean, that's, my research led me to that, so. Hello, everybody says, Nornieri, thank you, Tim, for removing that. And by the way, in my opinion, natto's so good in so many ways, by the way. Not just like for one thing, in so many ways. It's just plain ridiculous. And so I eat it every day. I mean, there's a reason I put it in the smoothie. A lot of people don't like the flavor. Hold on one second, let's see here. Okay, guys, well, I think I'm gonna, well, I'm debating whether I want to drink this whole thing. Okay, let's see. Sunshine says, I saw an awesome study out of Japan about colloidal platinum and hydrogen water. You know, colloidal platinum. Be a little cautious because even if the study came out of Japan, I don't know what exactly it's saying. Be cautious with anything that's plating platinum, like platinum plated, like metal. Like the Hydrofix doesn't use plated metal for a reason, by the way. You don't want plated metal. And platinum is actually toxic. I don't know if a lot of people know this. Platinum is toxic to the body. There's a reason they don't use like platinum rods, or, you know, they use titanium rods, like if you need it in your leg. And they even use platinum for, quote unquote, you could call it cancer treatment. And people would think, oh, that's a great thing. You might want to read more data, because platinum, like for example, there's a drug called cisplatin. Cisplatin is made for tumors. It's for cancer. This stuff destroys your kidneys. I mean, destroys your kidneys, guys. That is not a good thing. However, they looked into hydrogen while they were giving that medicine, and that's where the results, that's how it shows you the power of hydrogen. It appeared to protect the kidneys dramatically, because usually if you're on cisplatin, you're gonna need a kidney transplant. You're gonna ruin your kidneys. That's pretty much why doctors don't like to use that drug. And hydrogen protects so much, there's a reason that I use it for everything. I mean, it's like water. It's amazing for so many things. So I don't know what they're saying about colloidal platinum, but I don't have the time to read right now. I use the MK2 Water Lovers Distiller. It's what I had. I believe it's German. Actually, I believe it's made in China, but it might have been a German design. I'm not sure. But what I can tell you is that, yeah, I mean, that's not the worst one in the world. Water Lovers, when you can't get, I mean, it's not going to be as industrial. I've seen the Water Lovers, and I think it's you know, if that was an option that I needed, if I was out of the country, that's probably what I would go with too, but I haven't used them. So I can't speak from too much experience, certainly no lab tests that I've seen on them. But yeah, you might want to look where it's made, because I'm pretty sure it's made in China. You know, it should say right on there. David says, thoughts on IP6? No idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Don't know what IP6 is. But I will tell you one thing, if it's another supplement, for those who watch my channel regularly, and a lot of people may not like this. They're like, oh, this guy's a buffoon. He doesn't like supplements. Not really big on supplements. I mean, the powder I use, you could call it a supplement, but the truth is, it's just food. That's what it is. It's just condensed food, and I use it for, you know, multi-nutrient, and the minerals are extracted. IP6 gold. There's very, very little data on gold. I have read, but it looks like it's just another supplement. I would have zero interest in taking it. But I see it here. They claim, let's say, the combination of naturally occurring compounds produced from rice bran that demonstrates impressive immune-enhancing effects. I'll tell you one thing. If you're trying to enhance your immune system, you don't need something like that. You just need really clean water. Hydrogen is the part that's ridiculously amazing for the immune system, in my opinion. You should see what it does for the gut, and making sure to have no nutritional deficiencies. If you want a strong immune system, we're talking vitamin D levels need to be proper levels. This is what I mean by no deficiencies. You need proper B levels, but you also really have good zinc levels. There's a ton of zinc in that powder I was using, which is all from food, and the smoothie. All these foods have stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not really big on it. It just says, basically it says it supports cardiovascular system, helps maintain normal glucose metabolism. Hydrogen does all that too. I mean, all this, everything that I'm seeing, basically hydrogen does all that and way more. So, and what I try to do personally is I try to have the least amount of supplements that I possibly can have. I don't want a cupboard full of them. I know when you take a ton of pills, the ingredients in them eventually, in my opinion, they can strain the kidneys. You know. All right, Tim, take care, bud. And so that's just my opinion, Dave. I'm not really a big fan of a ton of supplements. I think that the supplement industry has gone completely insane. That's my honest opinion. If you took everything that everybody said was good for you, you'd have a house full of stuff, and it'd be a complete mess. You need to, at some point, figure out what the most important things are. And it always comes down to the basics. Clean water. Well, hydrogen is the magic. Proper minerals. Your body has to have all the minerals and all the vitamins, you know, the nutrients, the amino acids, everything that it needs, so you don't have any deficiencies.
I know that everybody I don't know why people love supplements. They love to take some new pill for something, but this is not about the new thing. This is about something that you will need every single day to be healthy every single day. Jumping around from supplement to supplement, I don't think provides that. But first, water. That would be, I mean, again, just water. Clean water is so important. Are you a guest on any shows this week or the last few weeks coming up? Oh man, I don't think so. I think I was last week. I think I was last week on 2 shows, I think. Yeah, when people contact me and say, hey, would you be on the show? I'm always like, sure. It's no big deal. Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm looking at this IP6 Gold. Let's look at the ingredients. You guys want to see the ingredients in this sucker? Let's see. Let's just see. And I don't have much time. I got to get rolling, but let's see. It's got calcium, magnesium. I mean, all this stuff is already in what we're eating here. Yeah, nothing. I hate to say I'm not really that impressed on the ingredients. Okay, no, but thanks for asking. Always good to learn more. If for some reason, you know, because once in a while, you know what I prefer to take? I'll tell you what I take. I can't show you guys what it is. And don't even guess what it is because you're not going to be right. I'll show you the first letter. But this guy right here, and I don't know if you can see the first letter. First letter is an F, as in fast, because I got to get rolling. But that's I'm actually been doing a ton of research on it. I've been researching that stuff forever, but I'm always looking at the latest data. And it's an anti-parasitic dewormer. That's the stuff. I mean, that, you know, you want to deworm the body, get all the worms, parasites, type of stuff out of the body. I do use, and I don't use it often. I created a protocol for it that I probably do once every 3 years. Get a deworming in. Okay, that's mine. Okay guys, gotta go. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time on the next one. Thanks for all your wonderful questions. And what about NAC or super quercetin? NAC is pretty good, but I wouldn't use it like all the time. I mean, when it's needed. Quercetin, yeah, I mean, again, it's not like I'm against these things, but we're talking about something. Are you doing something for something specific? Like, oh, I have this condition and I need to do this for this specific reason? Or are you doing something because you just want to maintain health, you know? But yeah, NAC is not bad stuff. It is good stuff. I take the big, I have cup back. I take the big, have cup back, says Sunshine. I don't know what that means. Helen says goodbye, have a good one. Okay.